Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Violet Rain.
Hi, welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. Today we're filming from my healing space in my center in South Denver. So if you hear noise in the background, it's just my husband Tom, the cameraman. So just know that we're not here all by ourselves, that we do have support in the background. Today my guest is Tammy Hopkins. And I don't have an official bio for her, but this is what I'll say. She's amazing. She's amazing. She gives me my massages, which are over the top amazing. I've sent boatloads of people to her to get massages, and everybody comes back and goes, oh my gosh. She's also a tarot reader, and I send lots of people to get a reading from her as well, and they go, oh my gosh. So, is that an introduction or is that an introduction? Welcome, Tammy, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So, share with us a little bit about your family and your history, because you grew up in this realm and it was all around you, where a lot of people in today's world, you know, didn't have that support or that, and so you probably don't know what it's like not to have it. But share with us your history and your experiences growing up having spirit all around you.
Thank you for having me, by the way. Thank you for filming. Thank you to the spirits. So, well, I'm from Mexico City. So I grew up with my mom and my las tias. It was a very interesting, from both sides of the family, the women and the men, there always been medicine men and medicine women. So from my mom, my grandmother was also a healer. She talked to spirits. She did a lot of work with herbs. So since I was a little girl, I was in that world. So then my mom and my grandma, they opened a center. They call it Spa now, but there was a place where they have a massage. They have the temazcal. They have the red light therapy. Can you imagine? That was then the red light therapy. So we had that room, red light therapy. We had the herb room, which all infused herbs that you will be sweating and wrap in sheets. And then the massage room. So I grew up with that. I grew up with spirits and everything. So my grandma always used to say, go and talk to them and tell them to stop bothering me right now. So I live in two worlds. I all the time. So I didn't know which world was real or not, because I was always in both worlds. I was included in both, And so, but one day I figured out how that works. So my grandma told me a lie, and the spirits go, she's lying. I go, what? That's not true. She's telling you a lie. So I went to my grandma and I said, did you just lie to me? And she looks at me like, how do you know? Well, they told me that you lied to me. So do you mind explaining what's going on? And so that was, one of the things that I was, that was the moment that I believed that the spirit world does not lie. So I always, I never second guess what I hear, because they're telling me the truth, and I think that was a great test for me to learn, because, I call my grandma a lie.
Our physical aspect, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'll tell her this little fib. She'll never know the difference.
Exactly. Right? And I just like, you have some explanation to do, Grandma. And she did, and I think she never lied to me ever again.
I love that story. You also talk about a story that a lot of your family went to medical school. So
Yes.
if they weren't doing this type of work, they were definitely doing that too. So
Yeah.
share a little bit about that.
My grandfather, from my father's side, my great grandfather and mother, they were the medicine men and the medicine women in a town called the Witch's Town. Imagine that. So they, my grandfather learned the whole thing about healing and everything by them too, but he decided that he wanted to go and do medicine. And so he used to say, I use the white coat and I use the spirit coat. So when one doesn't work, I use the other one.
I love that.
You know what I mean? So he combined both. So, and then I have half of my families are doctors or engineers. Crazy. And then I did went to medical school, but I dropped out because the spirits, I could not handle it. I really could not handle it. So, and that was a lot of disappointment in my family, but oh well, it is what it is. And then I just did curator. I'm a curator by trade. So I love art. I study anthropology, and so I love art. I love museums and galleries. So I was so immersed in that. But guess what? You get to see all the cool stuff when you do explorations and carving and going into the pyramids and everything. So I was with the spirit world more clear.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
how do you, here's a great question because I'm sure you get asked this. How does somebody know when it's spirit talking to them and when it's their own voice? How do you separate when you know that's spirit telling me something versus what we hear with our own voice or our own? How do you separate that? How do you know when it's spirit and when it's not?
Well, usually before I start anything, I kind of do my own little ritual, and I only invite. I know my spirit guides. Mm-hmm. I think that's the first thing. You need to establish communication with your spirit guides. You need to see what is real and what is not real, because the ego and the noise comes around, and then you only want to hear what you only want to hear.
Right.
Selective hearing. So you have to establish the communication with your spirit, with your angels and everything. You have to make sure and ask them questions. Ask them questions, and you're the only one that know the answer. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if they tell you, that's your confirmation that you're hearing the right thing.
I love that. I love how you say spirit never lies. One of the things I always say is spirit will never tell you what to do either.
Nope.
They will, if you go to a reader or psychic or a coach or whoever you go to, and they say you need to divorce your husband, you need to leave this relationship, you need to drop out of school, spirit's never going to tell you that.
Nope. I agree.
Because this experience is about you and your evolution and your choices, and they're not going to take your choice away from you. Now, if you ask them a question, they'll give you 15 different ways to approach it or 15 different ways to think about an answer, but they're not going to ever tell you you must do this or you must do that. They're going to allow it to be open for you to be able to choose what you feel is right for you. And I love listening to spirit. Some people, I call it your divine navigation system. Mm-hmm. Some people call it a different type of system. But we were given these gifts or this knowing to help guide us through this lifetime. And if you shut them down, you're missing out on some of the best guidance that you can get.
And, another thing that I have a lot of people that comes to me and they say, oh, I'm scared what you're going to say. I go, relax, it's all about you. But, well, a psychic told me that I'm going to die. I say, well, yeah, we all going to die eventually. We have an expiration day, sorry. But they're so afraid because some of these people really have this scared people. You know what I mean?
They really do. I go to First Spiritualist Church periodically here in Denver, and Pastor Susan always says, don't give your power away to any psychic, any reader, and she starts her sessions with that. Don't ever give your power away. And I think that's powerful wisdom, and I've started telling people that if I tell you something or you go to a reading and it doesn't feel right to you, drop it at the door as you leave. Don't take it with you and say, nope, that's not for me. That's not happening for me. That's not what I want. Because you have the power mentally to change your life. On the flip of a dime,
Yep.
you can make a difference. And the power all lies within you, not the message. And so being afraid of what somebody might tell you. Now, are there people out there that shouldn't be doing readings?
Yes.
Are there people out there with not a high level of integrity or professionalism? Yes. Be very discerning to who you go to and who you get readings from, because it's really important that you have a connection and that they hold a space of integrity and professionalism. You know, one of the things I absolutely hate, and this is me personally, don't come up and tell me you have a message for me, because you've entered my personal space without my permission. And that's really like going through my lingerie drawer that is private. And you're not, you love that, don't you? You're not supposed to be in there unless I say you can look at my lingerie drawer. It is the same thing. Don't go up to people and say, hey, I have a message for you. Because if Spirit really wants them to receive that message, some conversation, something is going to happen where that person's going to go, hey, would you do a reading for me? Or, hey, you know, I would love to hear from my aunt, or whatever. Then that gives you permission to step in. But I don't read people without them telling
Me
me
either.
that they should.
No, I agree with you.
And some young readers and even people that have been doing this a long time, they'll walk up to you and go, I have a message for you. And I'm like, that I lose all respect when somebody does that, because you're tapping into people's personal zone, and that's their personal zone.
Yeah, people ask me, so how do you live in this world? You know what I mean? And I say, because they say, oh, are you reading me right now? I go, no, no, I don't want to know nothing.
I don't want it in your
I don't want to be in your space. No, I say I have my boundaries. You know what I mean? And I don't want to do that to you, and I don't want to carry that on.
I don't want somebody to do it to me. So if you're a person that's constantly connected to Spirit and they're talking to you all the time, you haven't set boundaries yet. You got to tell your team, I'm not working right now, or I'm not connected right now, or don't wake me up in the middle of the night.
Nope.
Don't come in when I'm in the, you know, whatever your boundaries are, you have to set boundaries, because they don't have a conscious thought about time. Time doesn't exist to them. And so they're going to come in all the time unless you say, hold up, you can't connect with me during this time, this time, this time. And you have to set boundaries, because we're not fully open all the time connecting. If we did, we'd be exhausted.
Yeah, my granddaughter is funny because she's the oldest one. She goes, Grandma, that Spirit wants to talk to you. Oh, he has to wait in line. It has a number. Take a number. But no, really wants to talk to you. I go, yeah, but I'm busy. Sorry, I'm doing right here, right now.
He has to wait.
He has to wait
his turn,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
We need all of that. So in all the years that you've been working in this realm, what are some amazing stories or experiences that have happened to you being connected spiritually that you've learned from or been surprised about?
One of the things that I talk to the spirits that have crossover, and they are beautiful, and they want to communicate. So I used to work for a therapist, a psychologist, and we did it for 4 years. Kids that committed suicide, you know, and her work was, I want to bring peace to the families, you know. So I was between her and I, we brought peace to those people, and understanding why, you know. So I think that was the gift that I love to have in that time, because parents, they can't recover right away because they don't know what happened and why, you know what I mean? So I have, from her own experience, her son committed suicide. And after that, he became we were in a book club, and he was like, I need to talk to my mom. I go, oh my God, no, your mom is going to put me in a cuckoo hospital. Like, no, not happening. And so he goes, I'm not going to say his name, but he's like, no, I really need to talk to my mom. It's urgent. We need to talk to my mom. I go, not happening. Nope, no. And that's what you're saying, you know. I go, sorry, I cannot go and say to your mom, hey, by the way, no, sorry, I'm not doing that. So the next time that we came for the club, she goes, I had to share something with you guys. I hope you guys don't think I'm crazy. I'm like, oh boy, there we go. She goes, I saw how the picture frame just flew out of the wall. And that was a picture of his son, her son. And then I go, and I goes, do you want more? Now she's talking about it.
What else do you need me to do, right? To get her attention.
To get her attention. And I just go, oh God, no. And I say no again. No, I'm not going to go and jump and talk to your mom about what do you want me to talk. And so anyway, so then I came up with a book, and I bought it for her, and I said, maybe you want to read this book. I bought you this book. And then she goes, do you want to talk to me? I go, no, not really. Then she goes, I think you want to say something. I'm like, well, it's funny because I say, ask me questions. Ask me questions, I said, you know, and that's my motto. You know, if you want to know something, ask me questions.
Ask me questions, because that's giving you consent to step in and answer that. I love that you bring up this topic, because a lot of people out there and most everyone's been touched by someone in their life that's committed suicide.
Yes.
And religion and belief systems have told us that that's a sin, that they're going to pay for that. As you worked with these people through therapy, did you find that people that commit suicide are punished for their choice?
No. And like he did it for a very special reason, you know what I mean? But he was the ambassador of those spirits. He was my ambassador. So he will bring these spirits that they need to tell the parents why they did it. And they was the closure. They didn't suffer. They are not punished or anything like that. But they needed to, you know, we have I'm not going to say names again, but we had one case that happened in Boulder, and it was a football team. And she left the tapes. And everything, she filmed everything that happened, not just to her, but to other people. And then later, it was, I told the parents, and she says, this is what the tapes are. Go and get them. That's the only way that we can put away these people for what they have done.
I love that. You know, you and I attended a session with Marcia here recently, and her guides brought up suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And because so many people have questions of, do they immediately come back? Well, every soul is different. They can take time, or they can come back immediately. You know, are they punished? No, they're not judged. They're not punished for those choices. And every soul chooses for a different reason. They could be suffering from a disease or illness, or they could be suffering emotionally or mentally, or they could be that they came here for a short period of time and that was their contract. It could be that there's some lesson here for the family to learn, or friends to learn, or people to learn. There are all these different choices. So there's not one box that everyone fits in, because all of us are different in how we choose that. You know, my husband Tom had a friend of his that was suffering from a disease, and she chose to have the medical doctor support to leave this planet. And it was very interesting because she had a party the day before, invited everybody to come and meet with her and say goodbye to her. But she'd been suffering for years and years and years. and was able to make that choice of tomorrow is going to be my last day. There are lots of reasons that people choose that. So for families out there that are hurting or suffering for somebody they loved, and here's the other thing. Sometimes when a soul does that, they don't realize the pain they're going to cause to the people left behind. But as soon as they cross over, they get to feel all those emotions.
Yes,
so I had another person tell me just this week that they had a soul come to them that passed recently, and they left behind a 4-year-old daughter. And they didn't realize the pain they were going to cause till after they made that choice and crossed over. And the remorse for choosing that afterwards, right? Of, oh my gosh, I didn't think about the people that I leave behind and what that does for them and what they have to work for. Those are all lessons and experiences that we're meant to have on some level, right? On whatever that chooses. So I love that.
I had a spirit beautiful. He was like pushing me, poking me in one of those sessions when I was with the families, and he goes, she's not paying attention to me. You see, she's not talking to me. She's ignoring me. We're gonna get married next year, and she's ignoring me totally. And I go, oh dear God, he didn't know he was dead. And I go, honey, I hate to break it to you, but you're dead. He goes, no, I'm not. I said, yes, you are. And ding dong, he took a medication. He had a horrible headache, and he didn't know that he was allergic to, and he died in his sleep. And he never wake up. But he thought he was alive because she's ignoring me. See, I'm talking to her, and she just totally, nope, ignore me. I come home, and nothing. He was a teacher. So he used to go to class and then come back, and he goes, see, she's so cold.
Reminds me of Beetlejuice. Remember the people in the attic? Remember the people in the attic going, why are we up here? Why are these people in our house? What are they doing here?
Yeah, and I just go, I hate to tell you, you go, oh my God. He's like, no, not really. And I go, no, you are. And as soon as you are. And he's like, it was the most shocking experience for him. I say, oh my God, poor thing.
We come to this planet, this opportunity of living at this time to experience all these different things for various reasons. It's all about having the experience because, a lot of people say, when you're spiritual, you don't have any hard things that happen to you. That's not true because the challenges still keep coming. We just have to walk through them a little differently.
We're still humans.
We're still human, right?
Nothing changed. I can get a headache. I can get a stomach ache. Trust me.
I still cry.
I
still
cry.
bleed.
Yeah. Oh my God, my heart got broken. Yes.
All those things.
Yeah, we are humans. We are spirits having a human experience.
I love that. So you talk about teaching. What type of classes do you teach, or what would you love to teach and offer?
I have, I used to be an art teacher. So for many years, I was a teacher for 18 years. Then I teach also, I have a program that's called ART, that is Ancestral Regression Therapy. And it's about finding everything that your ancestors did and learning what is yours, what is theirs, and break the pattern. It dies right there with you. And when you heal, everything behind you heals also.
I love that.
So I love that teaching is at least 3 days because it's intense. Then I used to teach 45 years. For 45 years I teach meditation. So I'm also a clinical hypnotherapist. So
I think that's awesome. Now, teaching meditation, here's the big question. People always say, I can't meditate. Because they think meditation is only this for 2 hours.
Nope.
And meditation is a lot of things. So share with somebody that's saying, well, I can't meditate. They're probably doing things now that's very meditative.
You know, even if you go for a walk and you just don't put your headphones on, don't be on your phone, just go in and be open to nature. It communicates with you. Sit down under the tree. Just be one with the tree. I know I'm a tree person. So sit down, put your feet in the grass, you know what I mean? That's a meditation. But people, again, they like think they for 20 minutes, you can't stop thinking. It's natural. But just start breathing. Some exercise with breathing. Start noticing your body. Pay attention to your body. What is the body telling me? Oh, I've been having that pain in my back. I say, okay, well, pay attention. It says, I know that you're trying to get my attention. Why? What did I need to know? I have no let go that is holding me back. Because the back is the past. So something in the back is holding me back, and I'm no, what. So you have to learn how to know your body first.
And creative stuff is meditative, like
art,
painting, coloring, pottery,
writing,
anything that's
music.
Creative. Music can be very meditative, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of ways to be in a meditative zone and take that time. It really is about taking the time to turn off the distractions.
Mm-hmm.
All the stuff that we have hitting us all day long, our phones, the TV, movies, videos on YouTube, all that stuff, video games, shut all the distractions off and try just sitting still for 20 minutes.
One of the classes I used to teach was like, I want you to pay attention every single sound. Because also that's how you learn how to talk to your spirit guides. Mm-hmm. It's like, pay attention to every single sound that you hear. And then now, block that. And just listen to the voice of your spirits. And one by one, invite them to talk to you, to introduce themselves, just one by one. But you have to learn how to put the boundaries between all the noise and then start talking.
I agree. So powerful when we can just be present in the moment, because we're absent outside of our body the majority of the time. You don't realize how much of your subconscious is really running your life. And so a good example of that is, think about a time that you drove home and you can't remember the last 5 miles.
How did I get here?
How did I get here? Well, your subconscious knows the way home, and it drove you home while you're out in some meditative zone somewhere else. You didn't have to pay attention. We do that all the time. Mm-hmm. We're not here in the present. We're way somewhere else. And being in the present's important, because you asked to come into this physical reality, and you can't manifest your desires or dreams unless you're present, grounded, and physically here. You can't do it way up there. You got to be in the body to create it here in this physical reality.
And that's one of the things I love, is like, be in the moment. Because either people are always in the past or in the future, and they forgot to be right here in this moment, now.
In the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy, thanks so much for taking time to come and hang out with me.
I like to play with you.
She was really nervous. Like, what are you going to ask me? I go, we're just going to talk. I will put her website. I will also put in the comments ways to contact her, because I know technology is not her friend. When you start stepping into the spiritual reality, sometimes you have the ability with your frequency to shut down phones and computers and printers and blow up things and all those things.
Yeah.
And my friend Tammy here has a hard time sometimes with technology. So if you can't get a hold of her, you always know how to get a hold of me, and I can make sure she gets the message. But we'll have that information for you to connect with. She calls me. I keep referring people to her. She's been calling me her pimp, because I'm getting people to come and do sessions with her.
She's my spiritual pimp.
I'm connecting you to the right people. So Those that are watching, thank you so much for taking the time to listen or watch on your favorite channel. Know that when you like, comment, and follow us, it really helps the algorithms in the back, helps us grow our community. Feel free to share this with whoever you think can benefit from it. And I always wish you a sacred and magical week, and I hope to see you really soon, either in the podcast or at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. Have a magical week, and thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Violet, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. You can also send a personal message to Violet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. If you love the show, subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.